Okay, so the election is finally over, which means as you drive through your town, the only signs you should be seeing now are for sale signs. So now that all this uncertainty is over, what does this actually mean for the Orange County housing market from now to the end of the year? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about on today's episode when I go over my November housing market update for Orange County. Now, if this is your first time here, hi, I'm Josh Alexander, and for almost a decade now, I've been teaching both buyers and sellers how to successfully achieve their real estate goals through proven strategies as well as expert advice. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so like normal with these monthly episodes, I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of data and graphs. I'm really just going to get into the information that you need to know about if you're thinking of buying or selling a home in Orange County anytime soon. So first, let's go ahead and start with supply. So supply since last month dropped about 150 homes, which is completely normal for this time of year. We usually see inventory continue in a downward direction as we head through the rest of the year. Now on the demand side of things, we saw about 300 more homes sell in the month of October than we did in September. And I'll get into the reasons why this happened, but that is a significant uptick compared to the month before. So we did see demand go up a little bit in the month of October. Now, another thing that most buyers want to know is how long are homes staying on the market, giving me the opportunity to look at them? And then on the selling side of things, how long is it going to take to get my house into escrow? So if we look at the data from the month of October, about 45% of all homes went into escrow in less than 2 weeks in October, which was definitely a little bit down compared to the month before, which was at 52%. So we are seeing the market slow down a little bit. And you look at how many homes went into escrow in less than a month, it was down to 69%. Again, a little bit lower, was at 73% the previous month. So we are seeing the amount of time it takes for most homes to get into escrow gradually go up over the last couple weeks. And you can really see this in the data when you look at the median time on market. It's gone up from 42 to 49 days. So it's not a significant jump, but we are seeing homes remain on the market a little bit longer in the month of October than we did in September. And that trend is most likely going to continue as we head through November as well, but we'll get into that in a second. Okay, sorry for the interruption, but really quick, if you're finding this information useful and you want to be able to get a step-by-step plan put into place to be able to help you either buy or sell your home sometime in the next couple months, feel free to click the description below where you can find a link to my calendar and schedule a free 15-minute discovery call where we can go over and get that set up for you so you can achieve your real estate goals. Now let's go ahead and head back to the show. Now, the final thing that I want to talk about before we get into what to expect for the remainder of the year is interest rates, because whether you're a buyer or a seller, because let's be honest, most sellers are also going to be purchasing a home as well, interest rates are extremely important in terms of the affordability of that home that you're going to buy. So at the beginning of October, interest rates were hovering right around 6.2%. But as of today, which is November 6th, interest rates have gone all the way up to 7.13%, almost a full percentage point in just under a month. And because of that, affordability for most buyers has dropped by almost 10%. So it's definitely going to be harder for a lot of buyers to be able to purchase a home as they go through the month of November than if they purchased a home at the beginning of October. Now, going back to those demand numbers I was talking about for October, one of the main reasons they were so high in October is because when you look at it, most people that are closing homes in October actually went into escrow in the month of September. And the month of September is when we saw those extremely low 6.1, 6.2, 6.3% interest rates. So we had a bunch of buyers jumping in the market, getting into escrow, and then all of those escrows were closing in the month of October, which really boosted up those demand numbers and how many homes sold throughout the month of October. However, since the beginning of October, because interest rates have been on the rise, we are seeing demand slow down. In fact, one of the best predictors of future demand, which is mortgage applications, so how many buyers are applying for a new loan to purchase a property, 4 out of the last 6 weeks, those numbers have been down. So this is showing us that over the month of November as well as December, there is definitely going to be less buyers in the market than there were at the beginning of September. Now, at this point, you might be asking yourself, wait a second, didn't the Fed start reducing interest rates a while ago? Why are we seeing these interest rates skyrocket all of a sudden? Well, there's two main reasons, and the biggest one is that over the month of October, we kept getting report after report showing that the economy was doing much better than most market analysis predicted. And every time we start seeing the economy do better, which means that over the long run, the Fed is less likely to reduce rates quickly, which means the rates are going to stay higher longer, which is why we see eventually that trickle down to the long-term rates when you get to like the 10-year treasury bonds, as well as 30-year fixed mortgages going up because of that. So anytime we have good news on the economy, unfortunately, that typically means that interest rates are also going to be going up as well. And then the other factor that's really been starting since about 2 weeks ago is that the market has been more and more predicting that Trump was going to win the election. And because of that, based on their research and based on the policies that he wants to enact, including tariffs, they are saying there's a higher chance that inflation is going to stick around temporarily a little bit longer than they expected, which is why they kind of baked in these higher rates. And we didn't see a dramatic move once we did see the actual results of the election, because they were kind of already baked into it, assuming that he was going to win. Okay, so where do we go from here to the rest of the year? Well, like we already discussed, on the demand side of things, it's most likely going to continue dropping as long as interest rates stay above that 7% range, as well as during this time of year, we typically see demand drop anyway. So again, it's very likely you're going to see demand slowly diminish as we head through the rest of the year. Now, on the supply side of things, you're probably going to see something very similar. Typically, you're going to see less homeowners putting their house on the market as we head through November, especially once we get to Thanksgiving, where you really see the market nosedive in terms of how many homes are available. So I don't expect to see inventory go up significantly. In fact, I probably see it going down from here through the rest of the year, all the way till we get usually around February of 2025, when you start seeing inventory increase in anticipation of the spring market starting. On top of that, one of the main drivers of inventory being so low for such a long time is that most homeowners right now are sitting on interest rates in the 2-3% range, and they just don't want to sell and upgrade their house or move because their mortgage payments are so low right now. So until we start seeing interest rates drop, there is going to be an issue with inventory in the market for that foreseeable future. So because of that, and because of the seasonality, again, inventory should be dropping, demand should be dropping, and because they're both dropping at similar rates, I don't expect to see a giant shift in the housing market from where it is today, which is very close to a balanced market here in Orange County. So don't expect to see any giant price hikes or price decreases from now through the end of the year. Now, really, the only thing that can throw a wrench into that is interest rates. So if we start seeing interest rates go back down again, you will see demand start to slowly climb up, and you probably won't see inventory climb up as quickly. So there could be a point where you start seeing the housing market continue to heat up as we enter the rest of the year, but it all depends on what interest rates do. When we saw interest rates in those low sixes, we saw demand increase significantly. So if we got back down to that point again, there's definitely a case to be made that you could see the market heat up as we head to the end of the year. But as of right now, I don't see rates dropping back down a full percent anytime soon. Hopefully they'll get back under 7%, which starts to get a little bit more buyers in the market. But until we get to that low sixes, high fives, you're really not going to see the market shift in any significant way, at least on that front. And on the opposite side, if interest rates continue to keep going up 7.58%, then you could see a lot more buyers drop out of the market, inventory start building again, and then there is a possibility you could start seeing some home price decreases as well, because then supply and demand would be off by a more significant margin, which would eventually start decreasing home prices as we head through the rest of winter. Okay, so what does this all mean if you're thinking of buying or selling a house? Let's go ahead and start with buyers first. So buyers, right now, if sellers are placing their house on the market in the month of November or December, there's a much more likely chance that they're doing so because they need to sell immediately, because a lot of sellers, if they don't have to do it during the holiday season, are just going to wait till the spring season of 2025. And so there's oftentimes more deals to be had in the market of November and December if you're able to look for them and find them. Now, this doesn't mean that every seller out there is going to give you a deal, but there's definitely more opportunity. So the biggest caveat here, and you probably know this, is that everything is extremely unaffordable right now. So there's just not a lot of buyers that can afford to purchase when home prices are so high. And again, interest rates have gone back up, making it even less affordable. So I completely understand there is a big chunk of buyers that would love to purchase a home. It just financially doesn't make sense for them right now. However, for those few that it does make sense and financially you can purchase a home right now, the one warning I do want to give you, because we saw a preview of it in September when interest rates started going down, is like I said, interest rates are expected to continue slowly going down next year. And if we get to a point back down to the low sixes again, we already saw what happened in September. You had a lot of buyers coming out because homes are getting more affordable. We were seeing multiple offers on homes again. So there's a very good chance you're going to start seeing home prices go back up. And even though inventory is also predicted to go up again next year, Because most homeowners still have those locked in interest rates in the 2 or 3% range, unless we start seeing interest rates drop below 5%, a lot of them are just going to sit still on the sidelines, not sell their home because they love that payment and they don't want to give it up, which is going to constrain inventory for the foreseeable future as we head through 2025. Again, unless we see some crazy drop in interest rate, which right now we really aren't expecting. Most economists are expecting by the end of next year, we might see rates back into the high fives again. So we're not really expecting to see them drop so significantly that it's going to spur a bunch of home sellers all at once to place their house back on the market, because at that point it would make more sense to do so. So if you are thinking about buying a home, although I can't give you 100% certainty of what's going to happen in the future, right now the data is showing there's a very good chance that by next spring and summer, home prices are going to be even higher than they are right now, and most likely you're going to be dealing with a lot more competition too. So if you can afford to purchase and you find that great property November, December this year, you might not only be able to get a great deal on it, but you're able to lock it in, and then if rates do drop in the future, you can refinance and get an even better deal on that home. You don't want to rely on that, but it's something that you can do if rates eventually drop in the future. Okay, now on the selling side of things. So sellers, because we saw interest rates shoot up so quickly and so unexpectedly, it's definitely downshifted the market a little bit. However, if you need to sell your home right now and financially it makes sense for you to do so, because we still are living in mostly a balanced market, if you get your house on the market, you price it correctly, and you market it correctly, there's a very good chance that you can still get your home in escrow in less than 30 days and be able to get it closed before the end of the year. However, if you don't need to sell it this year, there's definitely a good case to be made to wait until early spring next year. Because again, most economists are predicting that interest rates will continue to fall over the next couple months. And like I said in September, we saw once rates got down to those low sixes again, a lot more buyers entered the market. It created more of a frenzy. So although I don't think you're going to get a much better price for your home between now and early springtime, because you're probably not going to see a lot of appreciation, you will most likely be able to sell your house faster if you wait until spring next year versus doing it right now. Because again, as long as interest rates continue going down, you're going to have more buyers entering the market next year to take advantage of that once we get into the more active spring market of 2025. So if it's extremely important to sell that home as quick as possible because you're making payments on it, you no longer live there anymore, then definitely you can still sell it right now. However, financially, you're not losing money on that home every single month for the rest of the year. You might want to wait until next year during springtime to be able to sell your home. Typically around the end of February, early March is one of the best times to start getting your house back on the market. And if that coincides with interest rates being a little bit lower, that's just going to be better for you, getting your house sold a little bit faster and ultimately a lot less stress as well. Now, with all of that being said, for both buyers and sellers, typically when I'm talking to someone one-on-one, we're really trying to figure out timing-wise what's going to make the best sense for them, not necessarily trying to time the market and trying to figure out exactly the best time maybe to get the highest price or the best deal. We want to figure out what's going to be best for your timeline, for your family, to make sure that you're comfortable moving forward. Because as I've said before, I can't predict what the market's going to do 100%. You could wait till next year to sell your house and interest rates go higher, and it makes it even more difficult. Again, not likely, but it's something I do want to emphasize because we know what the market is right now. We don't know what it's going to be in the future. So ideally, you just want to base it on your individual circumstances and figure out the timing-wise what makes sense for you and your family. Now, if you are thinking of buying or selling a home in the next couple months and you do want that one-on-one type of consultation to help you get that game plan together so you have a clear vision of exactly what you need to do step by step to get to that real estate goal, feel free to click the link below in the description where you can schedule a 15-minute discovery call with me so we can start setting up that game plan to get you to where you want to be on your real estate journey, free of charge. Find a time that works for you. I'd love to be able to have a conversation. And if you're not quite ready to have that call yet, there's also some free links to get you some ebooks for both buyers and sellers to help you navigate the process so you're just more familiar with exactly what you need to do as you start that real estate journey. Now, if you want to get some more data and insight on typically what happens after an election cycle that following year, feel free to click this link right down here while I go over that in more detail. And if you are trying to purchase your house for the first time and aren't familiar with the new commission rules for real estate agents, I definitely recommend you check out this link right here because it will give you all the information you need to set yourself up for success. So until next time, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you on the next show. Bye, everybody.